Hi everyone, this video is about Dendrobium keikies and how should you save them and what to do, what to spray. There is an annoying squirrel or a bird around. Please try to ignore that. This is the second time I'm doing the video because the sound got too loud. Yeah, that's the sound I'm talking about. Okay, these three Dendrobiums, purple splash in semi-hydro, another one of the same in semi-hydro, and banana royal just in a clay pot, right? Sometimes I just let some water be at that tray, on that tray. All the media in these three are lava rock and charcoal, and all the rest of the specimens that I'm gonna show you today explaining this issue is also in lava rock and charcoal, right? Keikies can come from here when you are fertilizing it too much on bare root, bare leaved pseudobulbs like that, and from bottom. Whatever that comes from the bottom is what we are keeping like this, right? And whatever that comes from the top, somewhere on top of those bare canes, you can take them off once they have 4 to 5 roots. Okay, that is what I have done over here. These were all failing Dendrobiums from an order that I got from a Sri Lankan seller. She was horrible, a total different seller than my usual friend that I buy orchids from. This person claims to do a lot of artwork also, but what she does is she gets the normal size Dendrobium specimens. Most of them are multiple caned like this, and they divide it, right? So they divide it sometimes into 4 parts and stuck them in between coco husks, unrooted totally. You will not know because they'll be held on by a rubber band and sent with orders, right? So when I saw the purple splash doing good and with a spike, okay, I wanted one. That was this one. Okay, so once I got it, this was I put this in a plastic cup in the same setup, and it was fine, right? But when the dry time, when the hot time rolled by, they also started getting more and more thirstier. So to eradicate that, despite being in a semi-hydro setup, even though it was in a plastic cup, I converted these into the full setup of semi-hydro with the side reservoir and lava rock and charcoal with the top layer of pebbles, and in ceramic pot. Okay, and when I did that, they started thriving even more. So I knew that was the way to go, but I did not have the necessary the amount of ceramic pots to put this in. So I had to make do with whatever I had in my hand. So that's where the clay pots came in handy, with a tray at the bottom, some sort of thing holding the water in for longer periods. But clay wicks it out very quickly, you guys know that. But that's fine, that's totally fine, because Dendrobiums or orchids, they're epiphytes, they thrive in wet and dry cycles, right? Even if I go somewhere ignoring these for some time, the reservoir with the nutrients or the water in it will take care of the thirst needs of these Dendrobiums. When I put the keikies here, I took a gamble because they were not ready to absorb nutrients from their existing roots because they are new. They were born aerial, and I had to train them. And what more better media to train them than lava rock and charcoal in a clay pot, because clay wicks it out. If I show you this clay tree stump, this does not have a bottom drainage. Okay, don't fall. Okay, can you see? So there is water at the bottom, right? It overflows when they come to the maximum height, but there is water underneath it. So this, you can say, is a semi-hydro setup too. If I go through one by one, this has a piece of pseudobulb in it because it grew on drying up pseudobulb. These are bare. All these three are bare, right? So I put them here in a Hail Mary effort to, just get them to survive, because the order was very bad. Rather, the specimens I got were very bad. Let me go to my other orchid rack. Right next to the ones on the floor is my old IKEA rack. I have painted it in black and it's peeling off. You guys know this rack to come in yellow. When the basil keikies were happening, what did I do? That is the next thing that I want to show you, right? If you take off the keikies of older canes of Dendrobium, you will definitely get basil keikies like this. Is what we are pushing for, right? When you get these, meaning the plant is trying to stabilize itself. But if you have any pebbles on the the bottom part of the stem, which is the part which would get plumped up like this, you have to remove them and give it space to grow, right? That is what I've done here. It looks like a well over here, but you'll never know from where Dendrobiums will start growing keikies, right? So when you see signs of new keikies, you have to remove as much media from around the immediate bottom part of the keiki and give it space to plump up. The canes hold or gather in a lot of energy and nutrition. That is why even the older canes can come up with new keikis. Coming to the top part, here is another specimen which I did that and succeeded. There are 3 keikis, right, which I have removed the decorative pebbles from around where the keikis are growing. The rest of the area will combat the dry top layer because of the top layer of pebbles, and whatever that is growing here, which will absorb a lot of nutrients from all around the other structures, was stopped by me putting them on those, right, and securing them here in the media and getting them to grow keikis the natural way. These are some of the other these anusmum keikis which I have taken off the stems when they are drying out. So I had to quickly get them to adapt to a media and start utilizing their roots to absorb nutrients. Ignore the ceramic handle which belongs to this mug. Okay, which is one of my which has my seedling cattleya in it. These two Dendrobiums are not out of the woods. Both are Dendrobium dragon types. Okay, this is a red pink, and that the tag is mixed up, so I've removed the tag. If they pull out of this situation, I will do a second part of this video, but same method I use this on this, these and these to come out of the root rot situation that the seller sent the specimens to me and grow very healthily. You can see that semi-hydro is working very well for this Inobi purple splash. These are compact varieties, they do not grow tall. I think this type of setup works very well with compact varieties, being Cattleya, Dendrobium, Oncidium, anything except for vandas. Okay, I do not advise you to spray. Sorry, actually pot vandas. If you are potting them bare rooted, no problem. But that's another topic to discuss. Drop a comment if you want me to do a video about that. I'll tell you all the pluses and negatives of that. But look how these are growing now. They are thriving. They are out of the woods. I'm so happy. I had given up on these, and they were on the other balcony. They were not getting fertilized fully, but since these were in the semi-hydro setup, I wasn't worried that much because I fill it up whenever I remember. But Dendrobiums, being sun-loving orchids, they did not get any sunburns, even though they were, in the dead sun. Even without water, I did not receive any sunburns on any leaves. So the last thing which I will tell you would be, if your Dendrobium is failing, please get on a high nitrogen fertilizer. Right? That's how I saved these. Not totally, but I saved the keikies to be more healthier looking, to be surviving on their own, to have a lot of energy and adapt to their own roots absorbing nutrients. I got a high nitrogen fertilizer on them, like a few times. I only sprayed it like 3 times, and they are doing well. So when it comes to fertilizer, I cannot just tell you that you have to go on a high phosphorus fertilizer for roots. If you want to, you can do so, but you can actually go with a balanced fertilizer. And for Dendrobiums, it doesn't matter, right? Unless your specimen is very, 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 very weak. These are the anosmums that I am rehabbing. These are very old ones that I had mounted, and during the dry period the mounts did not work because I could not water them on the other balcony 2 to 3 times a day. Now they are thriving in a semi-hydro setup. This is another anosmum, but in the coco husk pieces which that seller sent me, tiny Dendrobiums in chunky coco husks, right? If I take this out, you guys know I do not have coco husk, right? There are chunky pieces in this because for these types it doesn't matter, right? This bottom reservoir also, this is always wet, but this seems to love it. That's why I am just keeping it in this. If I see leaves going yellow, I'll remove it from here, but this is actually a test that I'm doing, an experiment, right, to see if I can utilize cocoa husk for semi-hydro. Okay, I will change the media more often, but that will stress the plant out. So I'm just doing an experiment, just ignore that okay, for the time being. But a foolproof method which I just showed you was this, right? Get them in a very you know not so easily deteriorating material, right? Inorganic material. Plant them in, have a top layer of pebbles, be it semi-hydro or not, right? Because if I keep a tray underneath this, like one of those, right, underneath this, it will automatically become a semi-hydro setup, right? If I remove that, because the bottom layer of water has been eliminated, this becomes a normal potted orchid. So guys, if your dendrobium is failing, this is what you have to do. Take off the keikies, don't be worried, just pot them separately and get them on a high nitrogen fertilizer. All the while, whatever that is that has a chance of surviving and does not have a chance of surviving is safely in the media and not shaking, right? Stability is the main part of growing any kind of epiphyte. If you are potting it, it has to be stable, it cannot be shaking. So to stabilize this, I had to work a lot, and that's why this heavy rock is there, and the label is also there. It was right here earlier, just to stabilize the tall cane. Oh, my window. I spooked myself. This tall cane with one leaf to survive. I just need this leaf to stay for photosynthesis, so I can get a keiki down here and not up here.